Hello, and a big warm welcome to Straight4ward Science. Whether it be your passion for science and knowledge or your school homework bringing you here, welcome. We are going to smash science together. This channel is aimed to help you understand key scientific topics, whether that's to help you with your school or university exams, or just to quench your thirst for knowledge. You are in the right place. In this video, we are going to look at cells. And no, that doesn't mean a prison cell. Remember, science has different definitions for different words to what we might use in everyday life. A cell in biology means a basic building block, so it's what everything's made up of. For example, we are made of cells. In GCSE science, there's an experiment looking at plant and animal cells under a microscope. And the animal cells that we often use for this experiment are cheek cells. In the next 3 videos, we are going to look at 3 cells in depth. These cells are animal cells, plant cells, and bacterial cells. The first cell we are going to look at, and the cell we are going to talk about in this video today, is the animal cell. This is the most simple cell. We are going to zoom into an animal cell and look at its organelles. Organelles is a new term that we haven't come across here at Straight4ward Science in any of our videos yet, and it simply means the bits inside the cells. So organelles means the bits inside the cells. An animal cell is circular or oval in shape, and we are going to look at our first organelle inside the animal cell. Our first organelle is the nucleus. The nucleus controls the functions of the cell, and it contains DNA. DNA is very important, as DNA is the genetic material of our cell. The nucleus is normally represented as a shaded circle in the cell. The next organelle is the cytoplasm. I often think of the cytoplasm like wibbly wobbly jelly. This is where chemical reactions happen. If you've ever made jelly before, you will know that a chemical reaction happens when you make it. As we start with a jelly cube, add some water, that's our reactants, and then we mix it and this turns to jelly, our product. This is essentially the cytoplasm. Next, we have the mitochondria. I think that mitochondria look like peas in a pod. The single term for mitochondria is mitochondrion. Mitochondria produce energy. One form of energy is glucose. Energy allows the cell to conduct chemical processes. Mitochondria is also involved in cellular respiration. Our equation for respiration is oxygen plus glucose, our reactants, produce carbon dioxide and water, our products. The one phase you will never forget is that the mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell. This is because they produce energy. An interesting fact, most animal cells look like this one that we're talking about today. However, one of the few animal cells that doesn't contain mitochondria are the red blood cells. As the red blood cell's job is to transport oxygen around the body, so therefore that oxygen cannot get used up via respiration. The next organelle that we are going to look at are the ribosomes. This is where protein synthesis happens. Proteins are really important as they allow cells to repair themselves. The word synthesis in protein synthesis just means to make. So the ribosomes is where the proteins are made. And the final organelle in an animal cell that we are going to look at today is the cell membrane. The cell membrane surrounds the cell. It's almost like a bouncer at a party. If you're not on the guest list, you're not coming in. The cell membrane is semi-permeable. That means it only allows certain things in. Time for a little recap of the animal cell. The nucleus is represented by a shaded circle inside the cell. This controls the cell. The cytoplasm is where organelles are located, and it's invisible, so we don't represent it on a diagram. The mitochondria look like peas in a pod, and this is where energy is produced. The ribosomes are little dots in the cell, and this is where proteins are made. And lastly, the cell membrane is the line around the outside the cell. This allows certain things to enter the cell. Please join us for our next 2 videos, which will be on plant cells and bacterial cells. And in our bacterial cells video, we will have a quick quiz to make sure you are an expert on all the 3 cells we have discussed. Thank you ever so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.